Hey, welcome back to Minecraft Through the Night, Season 6. Oh, let's grab that. It is 3:30. And I'm up playing Minecraft after trying to sleep. How much of that? Okay, crystal. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to remember words. Do you have that problem sometimes? Okay. Words, man. This has an oddly oppressive, almost claustrophobic feel to it. I mean, I'm going to keep going with it. It's just a little bit different from what I envisioned, but okay. Ooh, I love that I can see the sky outside now. Sky, claustrophobic. Maybe because I'm under the mountain, literally under the mountain here. Maybe. Okay. Well, I think the reason I'm up right now is while I was out yesterday getting coffee, I wanted to find a birthday card for Noi. And one of the places I went to Ross. They didn't have them, which I didn't realize. I went to Marshall. They didn't really have anything particularly good either. But, oh, slime. Well, shoot, that reverted. I guess I used the wrong tool. Shoot. A couple of my mods are not interacting well with this Tinker's slimy dirt. But you know, maybe it's okay. Maybe we got enough. Maybe we got enough of everything here. Speaking of, before I go wandering, traipsing around the universe, let me go make a pair of slime boots. On the space computer. Is that how you do it? That's how you do it. Slime boots, okay. I guess, okay, other things we were doing. Oh yeah, ooh. Protection 4, Feather Falling, Depth Strider, Respiration 3. Okay, good. Getting more enchantments on the armor and things. Good. Alright. Okay, so I want to go over and get more rail. That's top on the list today. Already we got errors going on. Already errors. What else? Oh, I was telling you the story about Muspire effect and got totally sidetracked yesterday. My apologies for that. I'll go ahead and finish that one up here right now. And I just realized I got derailed from my talk about going to Ross and Marshall's and getting the birthday card. While I was at Ross looking for a birthday card, I didn't see one, but I found some nice soap. But I didn't buy it because I didn't go to buy soap. I wanted to find a birthday card, right? I didn't want to get distracted while I was at Ross. So I went next door to Marshall's and found a birthday card, a thinking of you kind of a thing. That was okay. Nothing like I was looking for. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, it's hardly even worth sending. It was just the best thing I could find yesterday. But while I was there, I found something that had been in the back of my mind to buy, which is a bed pillow, which is not a pillow, but not a sleeping pillow, but one of those things that you prop up against the wall, and it has two little arms that come out to the sides. I've been wanting one of those, and I found a really nice one in Marshall's. So anyway, got it home and slept, and against my better judgment, I put it in my bed. Without washing it first. And sure enough, I woke up, kept waking up in the wee hours, itching a bit. Man, we're going to have to do all those. I'm going to have to get all these creeper vines, else and I can't just burn them, because then all this wood would burn. I mean, I could replace the wood, but then the floor would burn too. Everything's going to burn, man. This is going to be a pain. So, I woke up itching, and I mean, I know better than to take bed furniture of any kind, blankets, anything. I know better than to put those in my bed without first running them through the laundry. This thing was too big to really put in the laundry, and so I didn't. And I didn't stop. Mindfulness, I keep talking about that, like I got it, Well, apparently I don't, because I didn't really stop and think about being mindful about that bed pillow, bed rest thingy. Didn't really stop and think about the potential ramifications. So, sure enough, I woke up itching all over, and I don't think it's the worst case scenario of bed bugs. I think it's contact dermatitis, dust mites and that kind of thing from who knows. Yeah, who knows? So, in any case, I got up and went to put that thing in the wash, and it really is too big to fit in either my washing machine or my dryer. My dryer, they're both heavy duty. My second go-to solution for that kind of situation is to put it in the sunshine and let the UV rays sterilize it for a few hours. But we've had unusually Seattle-like rain past few days here, cool, rainy weather, and so didn't really feel like putting it outside would accomplish much. Alright, let's go get some rails. We're not going to sit here and clean this thing all night. All day and all that. Although apparently it is nighttime, isn't it? So apparently we are. So I've got it. I went ahead and just ran a bathtub full of cold water with bubble bath, and I've got it soaking in that. Let it soak tonight, and then I'll squish it out and put it probably outside and let it air dry for a couple days, and then once it gets manageable, I'll put it in the dryer and run it through some heat dryer cycles. And that will take care of whatever is on it. If anything, I mean, again, contact dermatitis more likely. All right, that's okay. We're out here looking for rails. So let's see if we can find any. Any I have not already looted. The Mossbar effect. Okay, let's talk about the Mossbar effect. When I was getting my physics degree, my faculty, well, I don't know. One of the professors I have never cared for was on my college faculty, and it's only now I'm getting about the same age as them, and I'm realizing there's really no reason to be jerks, you know. But my department chairman was he was super nice, and he worked with me when the other faculty really wouldn't. And my senior project, it was his decision he wanted to study the Mossbar. He wanted to measure the Mossbar effect. And so the Mossbar effect, how to explain it? I'm not sure I'll be honest. It's been so long, I'm not 100% sure I still remember it. And I'm not 100% sure I understood it to begin with. But here's what we did. It's like if you have similar isotopes, they will, one of them, an emitter and an absorber, one of them will emit radiation, gamma radiation, in discrete enough packets that the other element, the other isotope, will receive and absorb those packets, and you can measure the precise energy at which this happens. I don't remember why this is important. apologies. I don't remember. Just don't remember that much about it. It was pretty arcane at the time, and I think it still is. So again, the takeaway is things emit and absorb similar isotopes that are very similar in atomic mass will emit and absorb radiation at certain frequencies. And here was the hypothesis. If we could make one of them travel at a measurable velocity, rather with respect to the other one, if we could make the emitter and absorber travel with a known measurable velocity with respect to the other, then we could actually calculate the Mossbauer effect. We could quantify it ourselves. Okay, that's simple enough. And that's what it was about, was quantifying it for ourselves. That's a lot of what good science is about, replicating it ourselves. You don't believe stuff, as scientists, we're skeptical, especially of other scientists. And so the whole point of science is to be able to replicate what other people have done. So in order to test the Mossbauer effect, we needed to be able to replicate it. And my experiment was all about replicating. And it was very, very simple. You take the source and the receiver, the emitter, and the, what did I call it? The emitter and the receiver, and you move them at specific velocities relative to each other. And we did that. My advisor, part of the process of being my senior project was to brainstorm. We brainstormed together how to do things like that. And I was pretty lost. But he had the idea of, oh man, it's late. It's nighttime, isn't it? I should probably sleep through that. Well, tell you what, we'll just stay up this night in the mines, and then we'll work through one more day and we'll call it good. So he had the idea of mounting one of the items, either the receiver or the transmitter, on a speaker, a woofer, and a Radio Shack woofer, and just actuate the woofer with a known electrical voltage. All this stuff we can measure, Kirchhoff's rules and all this stuff, and determine at what frequency the gamma radiation was being absorbed. What was the frequency of emission? What was the frequency of absorption? And I mean, it was so simple in its elegance, right? And here's the whole point of this. My advisor was leading me on, kind of brainstorming with me about how to make that happen. He said, okay, we need to be able to mount one of these guys in a way. How are we going to mount the source? Let's say okay, we've already determined our source is going to be on a loudspeaker cone, on a woofer, oscillating with respect to the receiver. So how are we going to mount that source? And I thought about it. I mean, if we're mounting it on an oscillating cone, what other kind of mount would we need? He said, well, let me think about this for a minute, make sure I'm saying this right. Oh, yes, I remember now. He said, well, at first I said, let's just mount it on the cone, on the speaker cone. I mean, what could be simpler? He said, well, the problem with that is that the speaker cone is, he said, he said that might work, but I think there would be a problem in that the speaker cone is it's flexible. You know, it's like a paper woofer. It's going to have some nonlinear bending moment to it as the speaker oscillates. And he wanted a better measurement than that would give us. So we brainstormed some more, and he said, what if we mounted it on a something like a springy copper strip, you know, like spring steel. The spring has a specific spring constant, and we can calculate, you know, we can use the spring constant and do simple calculations to figure out the rest of it. And so the next step was, how are we going to mount it to the spring steel? And this was my brilliant idea. I said, well, let's fix the two ends of the spring steel so they can't move, and we'll mount the source in the center of the spring steel, and it's going to pop back and forth. And he looked at me like I was made of insanity nuggets. He said, if we affix the source that way, the only way it's going to move, it's not going to move in a linear way. How are we going to measure it? And I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, think about it. If we affix the source in the middle, how is this thing going to move, dog? I still didn't get it. And finally he said, think about it this way. What if we mount the source, what if we leave one end of the spring steel flexible, and we mount the source to that end? We mount the other end of the source to the loudspeaker, and we oh, here we are in the river, moving fast now. Oh yeah. So that's what we did. We brainstormed some more, but that's what we settled on. We mounted the source, the emitter, to the piece of spring steel that could flex, and we affixed the other end. And as we ran the oscillating current through the speaker, the source moved with a calculable repetitive rate with respect to the absorber, the emitter and absorber. That's what the words were. Yeah. So by knowing that, we just simply hooked up the current, hooked up the power supply, and oscillated the loudspeaker, you know, for a few minutes, and collected data from the receiver to the effect of how much. Well, we set up a. What did we set up? We set up something behind the absorber to measure the amount of radiation that was being received. Oh, I can't remember that part of it. What did we set up? We had some kind of a detector behind the absorber. So you have the source, the radiation source. It's oscillating back and forth with a radio speaker frequency, and just about a foot away you have an absorber material, and behind that you have a detector. So you can calculate how much energy is passing through the absorber and hitting the detector. What we found was that at a certain specific velocity of the two, relative velocity between the two, the absorber showed a spike in absorption. In other words, as those two isotopes came in sync, the absorber absorbed energy from the emitter, and there was a corresponding drop in the detection rate behind the absorber. So that's a long story, and I apologize for it. Just took me a while to work through it in my mind. I'm still not really clear on it, if I'm honest. But that's that was our Musbauer effect measuring apparatus, as I recall. And to my great shame today, I still think about how my moment of contribution was to affix both ends of that flexible spring steel so that the source would not have too much movement. Alright, so I think we ended up at 19 here, so we're going to go with these 12. 2. Let me back up and I'll put it here. Oh, and I'm going to need Shazbot. I'm going to need a redstone torch. Oh man, physics, man, it's hard. It's hard stuff. Well, this is not going to get us as far as I thought it might. And I think we're going to need more powered rails than my calculations suggested. Remember back in the early days of Minecraft? Don't know if you were involved in it as long ago as I was, but the booster carts and all this kind of the rails were always so much fun. Okay. That did not go nearly as far as I thought it might. I want to test this thing. Shoot, and it's already nighttime. Speaking of testing and Musbauer effect and all, I want to go get a minecart and First thing on the next episode, I want to test and see if this thing is going to properly get us across the map. We'll work out a few alpha bugs here in our system. Space computer. Rail. Activator rail. More powered rail just in case we need that. Torch. How about redstone? Got one torch and not going to need that much more. Okay. Cart. One of those. Okay. With that, we'll have that on the hotbar and ready to test out first thing in the next episode. And I will see you again from Minecraft through the night. I'm going to go wash my bed sitting pillow, and squeeze it out, get it drying a bit, and head back to bed. I'll see you next time.